Hello friends, how are you? Welcome to the Partner Study Center. Today we are going to see the social certification. You know that social certification for the important for the all class and all examinations here. You know that according to the social certification, the point arrive here introduction. First of all here intro. You mean in all societies, people differ from each other. The all societies, people differ from each other on the basis of their age, sex, and personal characteristics. Human societies are not a homogeneous. Human societies are not a homogeneous, but heterogeneous. Apart from the nature of difference, human beings are also differentiated according to the social approval criteria. You know that's important. There's a human society is not a homogeneous but heterogeneous. And apart from the natural difference, human beings are also differentiated according to the social approval criteria. That's important here. The next year, social stratification. So, socially differentiated men are treated as a socially unequal from the point of view of enjoyment of social rewards like a status, power, income, etc. That's important here. The treated as a social unequal from the point of view of enjoyment of social rewards like a status, power, income, etc. That may be called social inequality. That may be called social inequality. The term social inequality simply refers to the extent of socially created inequality. That's important here. The social certifications here, they are treated as a social unequal from the point of view of enjoyment of social reward like a status, power, income, and etc. First of all, see here meanings. The meaning is a most important for a social certification. The social certification is a particular from a social inequality. Social certification is a particular from a social inequality. All the society arrange their members in the term of superiority, inferiority, and equality. That's the most important three terms here. Superiority, inferiority, and equality. Certification is the process of interaction or differentiation whereby some people come to rank higher than to the other. That's important. There are people come to rank higher than others. In one words, when the individual and group are ranked according to the some commonly accepted basis of the valuation in the hierarchy of status labels based upon there is an inequality of social position. Social certification occur. That's important. That is status level based upon their inequality of social position and social certification occurs. Social certification mean division of society into different stratas or layers. It involves a hierarchy of social groups. Members of particular layer have a common identity. They have a similar lifestyle. They have a similar lifestyle. The Indian caste system provide an example of certification system. You know that there is an important. The Indian caste system provides an example of certification system. The society in which the division of social classes exist in a known as a stratified society. The society in which the division of social classes exist in a known as a stratified society. Modern stratification fundamentally differ from to stratification of primitive society. That's important here. Modern stratification fundamentally differ from stratification of primitive societies here. Social stratification involves two phenomena. That's important here. Social stratification involve here two phenomena. That's important. Differentiation of individual or groups on the basis of the positions of content characteristics, and whereby some individual or group come to be ranked higher than to the other. That's important. Some individual or groups come to be ranked higher than to others. The ranking of individual according to the some basis of evolution. That's important here. The ranking of individual according to the some basis of evolution. Sociologists are concerned not merely with the fact of social difference, but also with there is a social evolution. Sociologists are concerned not merely with the fact of social difference, but also with their social evolution here. Let's see a definitions here. Definition is the most important. First definition here, Agobons and Nikov. That's important here. Agobons and Nikovs here. The process by which the individual and group are ranked in a more or less enduring hierarchies of status is known as the stratification. That's important here. The process by which the individual and group are ranked in a more or less enduring hierarchies of status is known as the stratification. The given here definition here, Ogburns and Nikov. And the next here, the Landmark, that's important. The Landmark say there, a stratified society is one marked by the inequality by difference among the people that are evaluated by them as the beginning, lower and higher. That's important definition given by the Landmark here. There is a lower and a higher here. And the next here, Gisbert. Gisbert say a social stratification is the division of society into permanent group of characterized linked with each other by the relationship of superiority and subordination here. That's important given the definition Gisbert here. Social stratification is a division of society into permanent groups of categories linked with each other by the relationship of superiority and subordination here. And the next definition here, Williams, that's important. Williams has given has a definition. Social stratification referred to the ranking of individuals on a scale of superiority, inferiority and equality. There is a three bases here: superiority, inferiority and equality, according to some common accepted basis of relations here. That's important is given here definitions of social stratification by Williams. And the next here, Raymond's B. Mewis. That's important. The Raymond's is giving here social stratification is a horizontal division of society into higher and lower social unit. That's important. The Raymond's is given here social stratification is a horizontal division of society into the higher and lower social unit. The next here, Melvin's M. Schumann. That's important thinkers here. And he say social stratification refer to the arrangement of any social group or society into hierarchy of position that are unequal with regard to power, property, social evolution and physiognomic gratifications here. That's important given definition here. And the next here, origin of stratification. You know that's important. Origin of stratification. Regarding the origin of certification, many views have been given. You know that is the origin of certification. That's important. The social certification is the origin here. That's important. And first point asked here, according to the Davis, social certification has come into beginning due to the functional necessity of social system. That's important. According to Davis, social certification has come into the begin due to the functional necessity of the social system. And Professor Sorkin attributed a social certification mainly to the inherited difference in environmental condition. That's important definition here. Professor Sorkin's here. There is given here. There is social certification mainly to the inherited or difference in environmental condition. According to Karl Marx, social factors are responsible for the emergence of different social strata and social certification. You know that there is a Karl Marx, there is a most important given a definition here, and he say social factors are responsible for the emergence of different social strata, means social certification. And Gamplozos as other contended that origin of social certification is to be found in the conquest of one group by another. That's important. Next point here, types of social certification. That's important here. Types of social certification. Social certification is the base upon a variety of principle. Social certification is a base upon a variety of principle. So we find different type of certification. Different types of certification here. The major types of certification are here. The important, first of all, here caste, second class, third state, and the celebrity. That's important. The four types here are certification here. The major four type: caste, class, state, and celebrity. That's important. Let's see one by one clarification here. Come on. The first here caste. Caste is the hereditary or endogamous social group in which a person's rank, and it is a company rights and obligation are ascribed on the basis of his birth into a particular group. For example, Brahman, Kshatriyas, Vaishya, and Shudra caste. That's important social certification here. The first here types is a caste. Caste is the most important. There is an endogamous social group which a person ranks here. And a company rights and obligation, that's important. Is a basis is a birth into the particular group. Example is the most important here. Brahmans, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas, and Shudra caste. That's important. The next here, the important class. The class is important. Certification on the basis of the class is dominant in a modern society. That's important. Second types of class here. The class is dominant in a modern society. In this is a person has a position depend to a very greatly extent upon a achievement and his ability to use to advantage the newborn characteristics and wealth that may be possessed. You know that's important. The class is important because the class is the dominant in a modern society and there is a great extent upon to the achievement and his ability to the use or advantage the newborn characteristics and wealth that may be possessed. That's important here. The next here and the third, estate. The estate is important. Third, types of social certification. The estate system of medieval Europe provides another system of certification, which give a much emphasis to the birth as well as to the wealth and position. That's important here. There is a state is important. The state is emphasis to be a birth as well as to be wealth and position, and each state had a state. Each state had a state. And the next year, slavery. Slavery is important. Slavery had economical basis. Slavery had an economical basis. In slavery, every slave had is a master to the whom he was subjected. The master as a power over to the slave as a unlimited. That's important here. The slave is important, the economical basis. In slavery, every slave had his master to the whom he was subjected. The master as a power over to the slave was unlimited. That's important here. The next year, characteristics of social stratification. You know that's important. Characteristics of social stratification. On the basis of the analysis of the different definition given by the eminent scholars, social stratification may have the following characteristics here. Let's see the characteristics of social stratification here. The first here, social stratification is universal. That's the most important characteristics here. Social stratification is universal. There is no society on this world which is free from to stratification. That's an important point here. There is no society on this world which are free from stratification. That's important. Modern stratification differ from stratification of primitive society. You know that's important. The modern stratification differ from the stratification of primitive societies here. It is a worldwide phenomenon, and according to the Shawkins, and there is a Shawkins, all the permanently organized group are stratified. According to here, Shawkins, all the permanently organized groups are stratified. That's important first level here. Social stratification is a universal. And the next here, stratification is a social. That's important characteristics here. Stratification is a social. It is true. It is true that biological qualities do not be determined once a superiority and inferiority. That's important. There is a quality do not be determined one are superiorities and inferiorities here. Factor like age, sex, intelligence as well as strength often contribute as the basis on which the status are discrimination. But one's education and property, power, experience and character is a personality, etc. That's important here. Certification social, that's important. There is a one education, property, power, experience, character, and personalities, etc., are found to be a more important than to the biological qualities here. Here, now, certification is a social nature. There is a certification is a social by the nature. The next here, it is a assent. The most important characteristics here, it is a assent. Certification system is a very old. Certification system is very old. It was present even in the small wandering bonds. It was present even in the small boundary bonds. In almost all the ancient civilization, the difference between to rich and poor, humble and powerful existed here. That's important. There is a sense civilization, there are difference between to the rich and power. During the period of Plato and Catullus, even emphasis was given to political and social and economical inequalities. That's important here. During the period of Plato and Cotilla, even the process was given to the political, social and economical inequalities here. The next characteristics here, it is a diverse form. That's important. It is a diverse form here. That's important. Next point. The form of certification is not a uniform in all the society. That's important. The form of certification is not a uniform in all the society. In the modern world, class, caste, and estate are the general form of certification. You know that's important. In the modern world, class, caste, and state are generally form of certification. In India, a special types of certification in the form of caste in a found. There is India is a special types of certification in the form of caste in the found. The Asen areas were divided into four burns. The area was divided into the four burns. That's important. The Brahmans, Sastriyas, Vaisyas, and Sudras. That's important. Area divided into four burns here. Brahmans, Sastriya, Vaishyas, and Sudra. The ancient Greek were divided into the freemen and slaves. That's important here. The ancient Greek were divided into the freemen and slave. And areas divided into four burns here: Brahmins, Sastriyas, Vaisyas, and Sudras. But ancient Greek divided into two types: freemen and slave. And the ancient Romans were divided into the patrician and the plebeians. So various society past, present, and big or small is the characterized by diverse from to the social certification. That's important point here. The next point, that's the most important social certification is a consequential. That's important. Social certification is a consequential here. That's important. Social certification has two important consequences here. First of all, once here, life chance. There is life chance here. And others, one is a lifestyle. A class system is not only affect the life chance of the individual, but also their lifestyle. There is the most important consequence here. The life chance is the first, and second is here life style. That's important. Their members of class have a similar social chance, but their social chance vary in every society. That's important. The numbers of class have a similar social chances, but the social chances vary in every society. It includes chances of survivals and of the good physical and mental health, opportunity for education, chance of obtaining justice, materials, conflict, separation, and divorce, etc. That's important here. The chance is the most important because there is including a chance of survival and good physical and mental health, an opportunity for the education, chance of obtaining justice, materials, conflicts, and separation and divorce, etc. That's important. Is a social chance that is important. And the next, lifestyle denoted a style of life which is the distinctive of a particular social status. There is the distinctives of particular social status. Lifestyle includes such as matters like the residential area in every community and which have gradation of prestige ranking. The gradation of prestige and ranking, mood of housing, mean of discretion, the kind of dress and kind of books, TV show, to which one exposes, and so on. Lifestyle may be a belief as a subculture in which one stratums different from another within the framework of commonly shared over all the culture. That's important lifestyle here. Lifestyle there is generally here included a prestige ranking, mode of housing, means of discretion, the kind of dress, the kind of books, TV show, which is one express on, and so on. There is a lifestyle here. That's important here, including a subculture and all culture here. That's important for the exam view. Next point arrive here. That's important. There is a next point here. Social certification and social mobility here. You know that's an important point. Social certification and social mobility. Social mobility refers to the movement within the social stature from one social position to another. That's important. There is a social mobility refers to the movement within their social stature from one social position to another. It means a change in the social status. It means a change in a social status. All the societies provide some opportunity for a social mobility here. All society provides some opportunity for a social mobility, but the society different from each other. But society differ from each other to extent in which the individual can move from one class to a status level to another. There is an important point here. Individual can move from one class or a status level to another. That's important. That's important here. The concept of social mobility has a fundamental importance in ascertaining the relative openness here of social structure. The nature, form, direction, and magnitude of social mobility depends on the nature and types of social certification. That's important. The nature of form of direction and magnitude of social mobility and depends on the nature and types of social certification. Sociologists, sociologists study of social mobility in order to find out the relative openness of social structure. That's important line here. Sociologists study of social mobility in order to find out the relative openness of social structure. Any group that improves its standard will also improve its social structure. Any group that improves its standard will also improve its social status. But the rate of social mobility is not informal. There is a rate of social mobility is not uniform in all the countries. It is differ from a society to the society from time to time. That's important. It is differ from society to society from time to time. In India, the rate of mobility is naturally low because of the agriculture began their predominant occupation and the continuity of caste system as compared to the other country of the world. That's important here. The India's rate of mobility is naturally low because of agriculture began there is a predominant here. An occupation and the continuity of the caste system as compared to the other country of the world. Let's see types of mobilities here. That's important here. The types of social mobility, that's important here. The types of social mobility. In a social certification, the movement occur in the three direction. The social stratification, the movement occurred in the three directions. First here from lower to higher. There is a form of lower to higher and from higher to lower. And between two positions at the same level. You know that the three is a direction here, lower to higher and higher to lower, and between two positions at the same level. That's an important direction. But type here, social mobility is a two types. First here vertical mobility and second is a horizontal mobility here. Now that's important. The social mobility of the two types here. First vertically mobility and second is a horizontal mobility. That's important. And let's see one by one. There is a very explanation here. First here vertical mobility. Vertical mobility is it is referred to the movement of people from one stimulus to be another or from one status to another. It's a bearing chance. There is a bearing change in a class, occupation, and power. That's important here. There is a people from one assumed to be another, a form of one status to another. It's a bearing change in a class, an occupation, and power. It involves movement from lower to the higher and higher to lower. It involves movement here from lower to higher and higher to lower. There are two types of vertical mobility. One is a upward and another is a downward. The downward mobility is important. One is a upward mobility and second is a downward mobility here. When an individual move from lower status to higher status, that's important. The moves from a lower status to higher status, it's called upward mobility. There's a upward mobility. For example, if the son of a peon joined a bank as an officer, that means it is a lower status to take a higher status, means upward mobility. There is examples important. Son of peon joined to the bank of officer, it is said to be a upward social mobility. But if they lost their job due to any other reason or influence, is a downward mobility from the previous job. That's important. So downward mobilities take place when two person move down from one position to another, the change his status. Know that you understand? There is a upward mobility and downward mobility. Is this most important here? The next here, horizontal mobility. Horizontal mobility here are second types here. Horizontal mobility is important. It is referred to the movement of people from one social group to another situated on the same level. It means that ranks of this group, two groups are not different. It means that the ranks of these two groups are not different. It indicates a change in the position without the change in the status. Indicates here change in the position without the change in the status. For example, if a teacher labels one school and join another school, or bank officer label one branch to work is another or change to resident at the horizontal mobility. It means here there is a position without a change in the status. That's important, horizontal mobility. But horizontal mobility is divided as a two types. Horizontal mobility, apart from the above two boarded types of social stratification here. And there are two other types of social stratification in the term of dimension of time. There is a two types here, dimension of time, and they are intergenerational mobility here. That's important, intergenerational mobility. When the change in a status occur from one generation to another, it's called to the intergenerational mobility. That's important here. When the change in the status occurs from one generation to another, it is called intergeneration mobility. For example, if the son changes his status either by the taking upon occupation of higher or lower rank with that of his father, and there is an intergenerational mobility take place here. That's an important example here. You know that if the son change his status either by the taking upon occupation of higher or lower rank with that his father, there is an intergenerational mobility take place here. Another here, the intragenerational mobility. You know that's important. The second here, intragenerational mobility. When a change in the status occurs within one generation, and it is called intragenerational mobility. There is a change in status occur within the one generation only. It is called intragenerational mobility. For example, the rise or fall in the occupational status of family, which is the lead to be change in the social status within one generation, is called intergenerational mobility. You know that the rise and fall in the occupational status of a family, which lead to change in its social status within one generation, it's called their intragenerational mobility here. And the next and last topic here, certification and caste. Certification and caste, that's important here. Under the caste system, a status is a heredity. It is a based on birth. It is a properly as a scribe status. That's important. It is a based on birth. It is a purely an ascribed status. Once such a position are assigned, they cannot be advanced and improve their social status in any way. And the caste as a major types of social certification does not facilitate vertically social mobility. That's important line here. The caste as a major types of social certification does not facilitate a vertically social mobility here. The next, social certification and class. Social stratification and class here. Class is an open system. Class is an open system. Under this system, vertical mobility is absolutely free. Under the system, vertical mobility is absolutely free. The movement from one status to another has no barrier. There is no barrier, and status is based on achievement. The status is belong here based on achievement. It is determined by the talent, wealth, money, intelligence, power, education, income, etc. of a person, and there is no inheritance or parental status. That's important line here. There is no inheritance of parental status here. The next here, gender. Gender is important. Like a caste and class, gender is another kind of social certification system. Like a caste and class, gender is another kind of social certification system. Gender phase is the oldest and permanent source of social certification. There is a gender phase is the oldest and permanent source of social certification. But within there is a border arches of caste and class and gender cut across the caste and class. In present day Indian society, caste and class or gender are dynamic phenomenon which vary between the group, communities and religions. That's important here. The present day Indian society, caste, class and gender are dynamic phenomenon here. and which vary between two groups, communities, and religions here. Recently here, have a witness as a thorough and spirited discussion on gender. It has acclaimed critical address within the indoors as the concept and as a set of practice has occurred during the last 3 decades. That's important here. The origin of the concept gender can be traced to the 19th century woman as a movement and is a Marxism. There's a Marxism that's important. There is a origin of concept gender can be traced to be a 19th century. There is a women's movement and Marxism, but it is a seem to be have a first appear among to the American feminists and who want to be reject a biological determinism here. There is a reject here of biological determinisms here and feminists to refer to a term gender than sex. But the term gender means much more than sex and more inclusive than a sex. It is a socially constructed category rather than to the biologically determined. The gender of man is the masculine and a woman are feminine. And neither a man or not a woman is a sex alone. Gender refer to their social, constructed and culturally determined role that a man and woman play in their is a day-to-day lives. And gender is the most pattern or significant and numerous useful and ethical concept used by the feminists. That's important here. It is a matter of social descriptions or social cultural construction and provide a deeper analysis of the inequalities and existing between the male and female. It is a refer to the social institutionalization of sexual difference. In a feminist literature, gender is not a value-free concept, rather a value-loaded term and has acquired new dimension. It is a conceptual tool for analysis and is used to be highlight different structural relationship of the inequality between man and woman. That's important here. It is a conceptually tools for analysis and is there used to be highlight different structural relationship of the inequality between man and woman. That's important. As a social constructed difference and relation between males and females, it is a vary from time to time and from place to place. That's important. There is a social constructed difference and relations between males and female. It is a vary from time to time and from place to place. Gender is defined as a social construction of relation between woman and man and among various group of women and men. Feminists consider a gender as the social, cultural manifestation of beginning a man or woman. That's important. There is a gender is defined as the social construction of relation between man and woman and among there is a various group of man and woman here. That's important. And let's see different types of things of sociologists here. First come here according to Anne Kabir. Anne Kabir, that's important. Gender is a seen as there a process by which the individual who are born into the biological categories of male or female become the social categories of man and woman through the equations of the locally defined attribute of the masculinity and femininity. That's important here. There is a most important things here and cap here. That's important. And the second here, according to the must fill. That's important thing here. The gender can be defined as a notion that offers as a set of framework within which the social and ideology, construction, and representations of the difference between sexes and explained. That's important things here are given by a must fill there. That's important here. The next here, thinkers according to the ILO. That is the most important here, ILO here. Gender refer to the social difference and relation between man and woman, which are the learned, which vary widely is among our societies and cultures and change over time. That's important given theory here. The gender refer to the social difference and relation between man and woman, which are learned, which is a very widely is among the societies and culture and change over time. Thus, the gender involves a power structure. Gender involves as a power structure and economical relationship here. It is used to be analyze the role, responsibilities, constraints, needs of man and woman in all area. It encompasses the social division and culture distinction between man and woman. It is a play an important role in the shaping of institution and practice in every society. That's an important point because gender involved to power structure and economical relationship here. Gender is here, power structure and economical relationship here. That's important. And let's see gender and sex here. Gender and the sex. That's an important topic here. The term gender does not replace the term of sex. It is a necessary to be distinguished between the sex and gender. The distinction between sex and gender is fundamental and sign many differences between males and females are not a biological in a origin. That's important here. That's important because the distinction between sex and gender is a fundamental and sign many differences between males and females are not a biological in origin. Sex refers to be a physical difference of body, where as a gender refers to be social, cultural, and psychologically difference between two males and females. That's important here. Gender and sex. Sex refers to the biological difference between male and female, which are much more the same over time and space, whereas a gender refers to the socially and culturally constructed difference and relation between males and females, which vary from place to place and from time to time. Sex refers to the male and female, whereas a gender refers to the masculinity and femininity here. And gender is a structural feature of society. That's an important point here. Sex refers to the biological difference between male and female, which are not more than the same over time and space, whereas gender refers to socially and culturally constructed difference and relation between male and female. That's an important point here from exam view. This topic was till this. We will do the next topic in the next part. If you like it, then please like, share, subscribe and share the video as much as possible. Do not think, subscribe and save in your mobile. Thank you.